Hey, it's Ancient Aliens, and I can't wait to learn real history by the Literal History channel. Shall we begin? And we're off the Nile Delta because obviously Egypt. And here's a little beetle, and it's rolling around some dung. So obviously it's a dung beetle. Ah, you would have guessed that one. But hold on, because there is more than meets the eye. It turns out those ancient Egyptians used to really like those little buggers and totally made carvings and statues of their favourite little pets. Wow, they also feature heavily in mythology, where that little beetle literally gave back the sun every morning after it got stolen the night before. But that's actually really weird though. And now the discount bad guy from Spider-Man is asking us, why would a bunch of Egyptian fellas be interested in those insignificant little arthropods? Because like back then they were totally dinosaurs and all that. Could it be that our ancient ancestors used to carve imitations and imaginations of animals that they interacted with, just like those cavemen would paint pretty cool deer up on the wall? Or are they aliens from outer space? Are you stupid, audience? DNA exists, so obviously all those Egyptian insects were actually aliens that came to Earth and had literal beetles for faces. You want some evidence with that? Well, Alien Meme Man says that they left clues in their depictions, and like, we need to take it all at face value, therefore insect aliens confirmed. Oh, you don't believe us ancient astronaut theorists, do you? Right, that's it. We're going off to the Valley of the Kings because Carla just found Tutankhamun's tomb. And look, that breastplate has a beetle on it. And it's made of silica stone that was formed by a comet impact that struck 28 million years ago in the Sahara. That's really strange. Why did they fashion it, like that leftover comet jizz, into a beetle and then place it on Tutankhamun's breastplate if the scarab beetle wasn't literally a freaking star being transcending time and space? God! But hold up! It turns out when they actually wrapped up those dead bodies in that like linen stuff creating those mummies, what they were actually doing was cocooning them like a caterpillar. So like when they died to absolute death, they arrived in the afterlife like totally hotter, smarter and more powerful than ever before, just like a butterfly would. And oh my god, those beetles do that too! Like, they totally cocooned themselves, so obviously there were giant dung beetles aliens that parted this knowledge onto our ancestors. Oh, this isn't absurd at all. You're just too stupid to understand basic historical science. Let's immediately flip to Cambridge, England, and it's 2013, where this guy is using a high-speed camera to study plant-hopping insects, and they made a groundbreaking discovery. That crickety thingy jumps using naturally formed gear mechanisms on its leg, just like a car's gearbox. Oh, that is really strange, and obviously it cannot be the result of millions of years of evolution, it has to be aliens. But anyway, let's talk about ants, because that actually went absolutely nowhere. I mean, seriously, they mentioned it, and then they moved on immediately, but obviously they're aliens. But oh, yeah, ants, oh, they're really weird, and totally are more like us humans than any other creature in the world, because they work like 9 to 5, they have queens, and also have soldiers that invade Iraq. But what's happening now? I don't even know, because we're off to ancient Greece already, and there was a fictional warriors in Homer's Iliad called Myrmidons. Oh my god, they were totally mysterious and come from mysterious origins. Anyway, so that's not really important because there was this plague, right, where like this king was pleading to Zeus to like totally repopulate his land because everyone kept dying all the time. So that night, that king went to bed and he dreamed of like ants, and then they turned into humans. And then like the next day he woke up and there were real live people there who were like totally not dead. And oh my god, it was the Myrmidons. So obviously that's really mysterious and it almost sounds like it's a totally made up story, but god damn it, it's true because aliens had crossbreeding technology that fused humans to ants. And well, I didn't even realize that Homer wrote like total literal factual documentaries. But it doesn't end there, guys, because in other cultures they had ant stories too, like in the Quran where they had like these ants that talked like humans, and in South America they were stories of like ant people who would come from inside the earth and shut that front door. They even have photographic evidence. Ah, you cannot deny this now. Anyway, so Alien Meme Man is now saying if you are skeptical of crossbreeding technologically advanced insect alien gods and you believe in a system where small variations over time provides an environmental advantage, therefore leading to a refined organism capable of different climates, then why not take into consideration that there are crossbreeding technologically advanced insect aliens? I mean, come on, life comes in different shapes and forms. So obviously, alien ants can also be a thing. Oh, also, he's now saying that, like, you know, these, like, cave drawings we had where our ancestors developed imagination, which is quite, you know, important to evolution. Well, actually, it was literally the physical interaction between humans and alien ant people. So let's get this Count Draco Malfoy on, because he's now describing to us what an ant looks like. They have big eyes. They have big heads. So obviously they were actually the great aliens too, because they look mildly similar. We even have anecdotal evidence to back this up, because that's the best kind of evidence, dingers, and it comes from the Kalahari Desert, where the indigenous people there, who have been around for a long time and definitely know a few things, said that humans were created by insects, and then it all started with a praying mantis and a bee. And that bee one day asked that praying mantis to help it across the river because I guess it couldn't fly that well that day. Anyway, so the praying mantis was like, yeah, sure, hop on, I'll fly you over the river. And it did so. And then when it came to like disembarking, the bee went, thank you very much, Miss Mantis, and it fucked off. But it turns out that that bee totally laid a fat juicy egg on that mantis and it got it impregnated and then somehow human life confirmed. Anyway, the anthropologists actually dismissed this idea as merely a fable, because pretty much every culture, primitive or modern, have really weird origin stories. I mean, take Scientology for example. But of course they're all wrong, as according to us ancient astronaut theorists, that praying mantis was totally real, it was totally an alien, and we even have the proof, because we're going to California. Oh, who would have guessed that one? And in 1963, Linda Porter totally woke up one night and she was on an alien spacecraft. And they were like these great aliens. You know, the normal aliens that keep popping up all the time. And it woke her up and said, like, can you follow us, please? And she went, yep, sure, I'll follow. And then it took her to this really well-lit room. And shut that front door! There was a praying mantis in there! And it was like 8 feet bloody tall. Big, scary. And now Linda is saying that actually, that praying mantis and those grey aliens, they weren't there to scare her. They were experimenting. I mean, what were they experimenting on? Well, they were trying to find out where the human soul goes after your death. And they totally had humans in containers waiting for them to die to study it. But that actually might not be true though, because some ancient astronaut theorists believe that she got it wrong and what they were actually doing is genetic engineering. Wait, there's even more! And we can totally prove it using the Bible. So back to Egypt we go, lads. And there's the site of the plagues from Exodus. And it turns out that there were loads of insects flying around like gnats and flies and locusts and shit. But hold your horses! There's something strange about those crickets, because in Revelations, there were locusts too, that were coming out from under the ground. And they were totally mean with iron breastplates and shit. And they weren't eating crops. Oh, no. They were Terminator crickets killing humans and eating their decaying bodies. So let's ask the question. Were these just like mythical creatures dreamed up by somebody, probably having an absolute bender on a shroom trip? Or were they alien bioweapons sent here by warring alien civilizations? Are you retarded? Of course they were alien biological weapons, just like that film Prometheus, and they were totally sent here to kill all humans. And we know this because we also have robot aliens that can totally kill people like robo-dogs and robo-beetles. So let's go to Area 51, because in 1953 there was some shady shit going on. And it turns out there was an alien crash nearby, and it was like sent to this secret military base. But 45 years later, Bill comes out and says not only did the military recover an alien aircraft, but they also found a real-life alien. And would you believe it, its name was J-Ron, who was an insect. Anyway, he was helping them develop new technology. But hold on, because you're probably thinking this is absolutely mental. Well, the joke's on you, dumb head audience. We even have a collaborator called Dan, who also saw this and is saying that J-Rod, the alien insect, wasn't actually an alien. He was from the future, and told us that in the near future there's a massive catastrophe on Earth, and like mankind was absolutely destroyed. But there were a few survivors, and they decided to split into 2 different groups, and one of them went underground and totally became insects, because that's exactly how evolution works. I believe this without question, and so should you stupid butthead. Anyway, so in conclusion, I have absolutely no idea what I just watched, but I'm sure that is all true.
Subscribe button.
Is always right.